With the satisfied smile on her father's face, she realized that everything was going exactly as he had planned. Earning the approval of the powerful Count of Castile was no easy feat, but she had done it. She, the youngest daughter of Fernan Gonzalez, had been chosen by Prince Ordonio because she was the only noblewoman on the peninsula who had captured the heir's heart. After all, how could anyone not be charmed by her? Urraca Fernandez had grown accustomed to the idea that her father was the most powerful lord in the kingdom. She was born in the year 930, when Fernan had already earned fame for his battles against the Moors and gained the recognition of King Ramiro of Leon. Ambitious, stubborn, despotic, and harsh, the Count of Castile had repeatedly shown the monarch that he valued his own opinion above all else. This led to open conflict, but Ramiro reconciled with his rebellious vassal, even gladly approving the marriage between their children, Prince Ordonio and the beautiful Urraca. The wedding took place in the year 945, shortly before the king's death, after which the young couple became king and queen. Ordonio III, the new ruler of Leon, immediately faced a challenge from his half-brother. Discontent with his role, Prince Sancho demanded a substantial land grant, but was refused. Unlike many European rulers, Ordonio had no intention of dividing his kingdom. Angered, Sancho vowed to rebel, and he kept his word. Queen Urraca thrived in her role. She frequently visited monasteries, made donations, invited Provençal troubadours to court to compose beautiful songs for her, hunted, and danced. Her little daughter, born from her marriage to the king, promised to be as beautiful as Urraca, and the princess was adored and spoiled by all. However, the queen's father was always a step ahead. The weak-willed and fickle king was not to Fernan's liking. Such a ruler would struggle against the Moors or local intrigues. Thus, the Count of Castile switched sides to support the enemy, Prince Sancho. Urraca couldn't believe her ears when her husband summoned her to the Grand Hall and ordered her to leave immediately. It was there that the young woman learned of the conspiracy involving her father. The furious king threatened to annul their marriage and personally execute the Count of Castile. Urraca wasn't even allowed to say goodbye to her little daughter, Teresa. At the moment her husband ordered her to leave the court, the queen was pregnant. In exile, she gave birth to Prince Bermudo and immediately wrote to Ordonio about it. The king's response was swift: "He is not my son." It is said that the king's refusal to acknowledge Bermudo infuriated the Count of Castile to such an extent that it fueled his resolve to fight even harder. Ordonio was preparing to petition the Pope for a divorce and had even chosen a new bride for himself, an Aragonese widow named Pelaya, the young widow of a Galician count. He was also waging war on two fronts, against Fernan and the Moors. Apparently, the usually astute count underestimated the ruler of Leon. In the year 956, he was decisively defeated by Ordonio. To the king's credit, he agreed to listen to the captured Count of Castile. Fernan pleaded for mercy for his daughter and grandson and was willing to renew his oath of loyalty to Ordonio III. The monarch decided to show mercy. The count was released, and Urraca returned to the royal palace. Such a noble act by Ordonio was rumored to be a reaction to the Pope's anger. After all, he had not only refused to grant the king a divorce, but had also threatened excommunication for mistreating his wife. Peace was restored. Prince Bermudo saw his father for the first time, but it was unlikely he would remember it. When the boy was 3 years old, King Ordonio passed away. In Santiago de Compostela, the new ruler of Leon was crowned. He was Prince Sancho, who had once schemed so desperately against his brother. Nicknamed the Fat One, he was indeed so portly that he moved with great difficulty and couldn't even sit in a saddle. Hardly a ruler. Urraca left the royal palace once more, and the Count of Castile seriously contemplated her fate. The mother of the young prince could easily become a victim of Sancho. The king didn't need another heir to the throne. How could he protect his daughter? The only solution, of course, was to marry her off. Soon, Urraca wed her royal cousin, who shared the same name as her deceased husband, Ordonio. Sancho's reign was as tumultuous as the one that preceded it. Urraca's husband declared himself the true king of Leon and raised a rebellion. He even managed to be crowned alongside his wife. Many noble lords supported Ordonio IV, but the advantage lay with King Sancho. Despite his bulk and clumsiness, he succeeded in driving the rebels into retreat. Abandoning his pregnant wife, Ordonio attempted to flee and died in the year 960. Twice a widow and twice a queen, Urraca of Castile returned to her ancestral home. Fernand Gonzalez was in a dark mood. His brilliant plans were falling apart one after another. The king, resembling a massive blob of jelly, continued to thrive and rule. Meanwhile, his beautiful daughter wept for her unfortunate fate. At 30, Urraca was considered quite old for a woman of the 10th century, but she remained stunningly beautiful, so much so that Sancho II of Navarre proposed marriage to her. The wedding took place, and Fernand Gonzalez smiled once again. This third and final union was Urraca's most successful. In Navarre, she was truly valued and respected, and her fearless husband, the scourge of the Moors, loved her dearly. They understood each other perfectly. The King of Navarre not only fought but also founded monasteries, passionately read books, and supported scholars. In her marriage to Sancho, Queen Urraca bore 7 children. In the year 981, the combined forces of the Count of Castile and the King of Navarre suffered a devastating defeat at the hands of the Caliphate's troops. Reluctantly, Sancho had to agree to peace, which included a marriage between his daughter and Almansor. Urraca wept inconsolably for several days, as it was utterly unthinkable for a Christian princess to become the wife of an infidel. Alas, the agreement was signed. Thus, the Navarrese girl Urraca became Abdu of Basque. King Sancho passed away in the year 994, and his son by Urraca, Garcia Sanchez II, ascended to the throne. A decade earlier, another son of the queen, Bermudo, the very child his father had once refused to acknowledge, had taken the throne of Leon. Urraca became the mother of 2 European monarchs. The daughter of the Count of Castile, thrice a queen, died in the year 1007 and was buried in the monastery of Covarrubias. While there were many rulers with far more intriguing biographies, few could claim the distinction of having been crowned queen 3 times. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, and thank you for your comments.